Okay. Well, okay, but can I have the slide? The slide, the collection of slides called Do or Die. Do, if you don't do it, you will die. That is about God to make the earth safe for us all, for mankind in the future. Yes, please. Oh, yeah. This is the title of my talk. Actually, there is a subtitle, Do or Die. I don't know where did I put it, but anyway, I will just tell you why I choose this. Therefore, I appreciate it very much seeing younger fellow talk about astronomy. This one? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, this is part of my talk today. I'm not a bad teacher. I'm not a bad teacher in the sense that if you ask me, I will shoot you. No. You can stop me at any time in my talk to ask whether what I'm talking about is nonsense or wrong. So, don't you? Huh? Okay, please. Next one. Yeah. What I would like to stress is astronomical catastrophe is low risk, but not negligible. It's different than gunung api meletus or volcanic eruption. It happens every time. Gempa bumi, earthquake also happen very often, but astronomical extinction can only happen maybe once in some 100 or 200 years, or as a matter of fact, some happen only after a million years. But I would like to show you that from the outside places, Jupiter, for example, was attacked by asteroid. Now, last night there were students, and there was a participant who talked about planets. Actually, I was going to ask you to go outside for a while because Jupiter was right above us. And this morning, in the beautiful morning, Venus was right in the east with Orion. I can talk more about the constellation of Orion, but this is not time to do that. But later maybe I can do it. No, Jupiter. But 110 years ago, a piece of elusive cosmic body in 1908 devastated the Siberian forest. And about 2 years ago, fireball brighter than the sun lit up the morning sky over Russia, over the forest in Chilya Springs. The forest is surrounded by a city of population 1.1 million people. The asteroid is stranded there. Okay, that's what happened. Now, I hope this will not happen in Palangkaraya or in Bandung, because it's very devastating. If it happened here, right here, you all will die immediately. That I don't expect you to see. Okay, slide. An example, very isolated effect. Asteroid number 2012, the A14. It was called a space rock, batuan di antariksa. The diameter was only 45 meters. Large in comparison to this room, but very small in comparison to the scale of the Earth. Rendezvous this planet Earth at a distance of only 27,700 kilometers. The distance from Sabang to Jakarta is only a fraction of that distance. A close call from astronomical term. That happened on February 15, 2014, when asteroid 2012 was nearby the Earth. Slide berikutnya. Now, we have learned in the last few years, not new emerging forces, which was popularized by Sukarno in the 1965, but near Earth orbit. Maybe all of you were not born yet at that time, but Sukarno every day talked about new emerging forces. Therefore, he built Senayan. Yeah, ASEAN. Okay. There are right now still 1,600 near-Earth objects with diameter greater than 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer is about the size of this area. It is large by comparison of our daily experience, but it is very small in the sky. Not frightening, of course. Many more near-Earth asteroids of 100 meters found than previously thought. We thought there were it's nothing, asteroid of 100 meters. But apparently there are more asteroids surround the Earth. The diameter is only small, but imagine if 100-meter ball enter Bandung or enter Surabaya, it will cause disaster. Now, fortunately enough, the Earth is surrounded by the atmosphere. The atmosphere of the Earth serves as a blanket for the Earth, because if the asteroid enters the atmosphere, it will become heated, become warm, and then menguap. What? Evaporated, yeah. Okay. From Neo, we move to Po. It is potentially hazardous object. There are many Neos around us, but Po, at the moment, there are only 154, belong to potentially hazardous object. Those are the objects that can come directly hit the Earth. Fortunately enough, the Earth consists of sea and water, 65% of them, and only 40% consists of darata, land mass, and only a few percentage in the form of the cities and villages. So the chance is that the 154 objects will not hit the city or villages, but will come to the forest or to the sea. Still, we cannot, this is probability, but now suppose one of them hit us, will be disasters. Slides berikutnya. An asteroid is going near Earth asteroid because the trajectory is such that the asteroid crosses the orbit of the Earth. It's very near enough. Some as close as 19.5 astronomical 500 astronomical units, or 7.5 million kilometer. 7.5 million kilometer, 7,5 juta kilometer itu jauh sekali buat ukuran kita for our daily experience. But in sky, or in the universe, it is a close distance, like our neighbor. As of June 2017, there are 16,249 NEAs unknown, including, this is the danger thing, 875 NEAs with diameter less than 1 kilometer. Okay, slice. Now, this is big event. Happened some years ago, not before all of us inhabited the Earth, 65 million years ago. All of a sudden, a huge asteroid or comet hit the Gulf of Mexico in such a way that the comet produced dust which circle around the Earth. And because dust circle around the Earth, like when Tambora erupted some 200 years ago, the sunlight cannot enter the Earth. And if the sunlight cannot enter the Earth, you will suffer from coldness, kedinginan. What happened? First was dinosaurs, because dinosaurs is big one, big head, but had no brain. So they cannot protect themselves from the coldness, and therefore they disappeared. They disappeared very soon because of this event. Now, at that time, I don't know how many million people live on Earth, but maybe if there were some people also suffer from that disaster. I'm not talking about our sun, the source of life that has made life on Earth beautiful and livable. What? Comfortable, yes, because of the heat. I tell you interesting things about this. When Father Mangunwijaya, the Catholic priest, some 20 years ago, came to me, my house was still in Lembang, asked me, he was correctly asked me, are there extra planets beside the Earth? Yes, there exist, but astronomers do not know how many. No, suppose one out of them are or is inhabited by people, by men. What are their religions? See, kalau ada planet di sana, ada orangnya, agamanya apa, Tuhannya kayak apa? Itu pertanyaan pastor Katolik. Saya bahasa Indonesia saya tidak tahu. My answer was, I don't know. Up to you. The Catholic, he was happy. But of course, at that time, HTI was not there. HTI was not there, so the answer was still obvious. Okay, but this one, I'm talking to you about the sun. The sun has already existed for 4.5 billion years. The Earth also. During that time, he poured the energy to the Earth, 2 calories per centimeter square per second up on the atmosphere. But the sun is not constant star. This means that the sun sometimes fades away, sometimes brighten up. And it happened that only in the 17th century, from 1645 until 1715, when people called Louis XIV was the Sun King, the sun was actually undergone significant changes in behavior. Constancy and inconstancy energy of output. At that time, the temperature of the sun dropped by several degrees centigrade. Because of the drop of the temperature, the production of the farmer in Europe was also reduced. Now, unfortunately, there was no notes. This is what I like to see all of you later on to study. What happened of the tani production between 1645 to 1750, when the sunlight was dropped. Maybe there was also an effect in the production of rice, production of ketela, and so forth. Yeah. This happened because of the sun it's not a constant star. Sometimes it brightens up, sometimes it's dim down.
Sir.
Yes, please. I have no son. I have no gun. So you can answer.
I just want you to explain us about all about stock.
All about
stock. That one. Under the reign of Louis XVI of the sun, the selectivity all about stock. What is that? Why it can bright down and up again? Is that the cause of the core of the sun or something else?
Now, the solar activities, or what we call solar activities, is the phenomena that happen on the surface of the sun. It is caused by the magnetic activity within the sun. Now, the magnetic activity sometimes becomes very active and produce lots of energy, but sometimes becomes so weak. Astronomers until now do not know what caused this variability of magnetic activity in the sun. What we know is the number of sunspots is reducing. That causes the brightness. The number of sunspots is increasing. This means that the surface of the sun is covered by sunspot, and therefore intensity increase because the number, the energy output in the solar flare becomes so high. That is what we know about the surface of the sun, but we don't know about the internal cause of this, of the internal cause of it. And therefore, astronomers until now are busy studying the sun as a star, to study the internal activity of the sun, because it is directly influence our life. The activity also influence the atmospheric phenomena. Therefore, we study the sun-earth relationship. It is not unique yet. The science is not unique yet, but still there are many if. Yeah, it is part of you students to study it later on. The office in Indonesia which is concerned about the variability of the sun is LAPAN. LAPAN head office was in Jakarta, but there is an office here in Bandung. The cabang is in Bandung. The cabang in Bandung studied the variability of the sun and its relationship with the life being on Earth. If you have time, maybe you can go to LAPAN, but you have to make an appointment.
Ayo Pak.
I don't. I'm not the. Okay. Here, as I said, what has caused it? I also distribute the letter to a copy to you just a few days ago, which tell you about the year 2017 in which we live now is the hottest year. It is caused by the activity of the sun, which we do not know why. Did you distribute it or not yet? No, not the NEO, the temperature, the climate. Yeah. Okay, you will get from Mr. Pian. But here, question mark, ocean impact on decadal Atlantic climate variability revealed by sea level observation. Sea level observation, sea level is always going up and down depending on the activity of the sun. Some people here making the mitigation effort by a simplistic approach, as if the up and down of the ocean is caused only by the melting of the ice in North or South Pole, which is not true, because even the sun's activity can cause old world drought. We experienced severe and extensive droughts before 20th century. This happened, this has been caused. Maybe the farmers in Indonesia have notes about it, but I could not find it, because the farmers have always noted the production of their rice, whether increase or decrease, and that may be caused by the external disaster. Yes, but
Sir, I'm so sorry.
yes, of course. I know you are from Gorontalo. So,
I am geography teacher because some students asked me, about is there the effect of sun to the tidal wave or just the moon? I said I don't know. I thought it was just moon has effect to the tidal wave on sea. And there is no effect from the sun, is it?
that is true. The moon has caused the largest amount of tidal wave, depending on the dates, on the position of the moon.
Distance.
No, distance is always more or less constant, but on the dates, yeah, and the first moon or full moon period.
So
but on top of that, there are other things that has caused the moving up and down tidal wave.
So there's nothing effect of the sun at all?
Oh yes, yes. The sun may affect the tidal wave.
But little.
Very little in normal times.
Oh, yeah.
Except Nyai Roro Kidul, if she got angry, the tidal wave will be increasing. Okay, if you all can open Compass 2 days ago, from 2 days, 3 days ago maybe. The author is trying to tell you, because our grandfather, great-grandfather, will not explain the cause of tidal wave. For simplicity, they call it Nyai Roro Kidul got angry. And therefore, the tidal wave in South Sea in the Samudra Indian night. But actually, there was a tinggalan tsunami that can be observed in the Pantai Selatan, southern shore of Java. That tsunami did happen 300 years ago. Not only in Aceh 5 years ago, but also in southern Sumatra. Now, we Indonesian usually are happy to explain something mythically. With mythos, you don't have to ask anything. Nyai Roro Kidul got angry, that is okay. Don't ask anymore. But we cannot live on that nowadays. Huh?
There is no in this book.
No, I don't think she believe in the existence of Nyai Roro Kidul, because Nyai Roro Kidul like very much the green color. Huh? So, yeah, but this is what's happening on the earth. For example, the old world drought. It's not only happened in Indonesia, but in America, in Europe. Sometimes the farmers' production got very low because of the drought. Now we complain about the long dry season in Java. Maybe it is part of the universal constraint. The dry season got longer. As a matter of fact, the temperature in 2017 was higher than the temperature before, except this morning was very cold because of the wind. Okay? Pacific Western boundary has caused the El Nino. El Nino can change also because of the activity of the sun. Yeah, thus El Nino and its associated change, drought can also be affected. Slides, please. No. Geologists found a very good term, Anthropocene. Now they divided the times since the existence of the Earth 4.5 billion years ago into some period. Time is divided by geologists according to the marked shift in Earth's state. This means that the Earth's state is not constant, and the evolution is also changed, its speed and its magnitude. Now, global environmental changes suggest that Earth may have entered a new human. That is different. Human-dominated geological epoch. We are responsible for the change of the face of the Earth. Those who have money buying lands to make apartment or hotel, like the hotel what you are having here. In the old days, Bandung has allowed that people should not build hotel or something big around this place. Bandung Utara. Because of what? Because this was the site of the old Bandungers, when Bandung city was still a lake. This was the place. Therefore, some people have found many old alat tua di sini. But no, they don't care anymore. They build hotel houses in this area. Therefore, they will menutup alat-alat tersebut. There are many places like that. From which we cannot study anymore because you cannot dig the hotel. What is underneath the hotel? You can live on it nicely and have breakfast very, very comfortably there. But what happened inside, we don't know.
We are studying here.
Huh? Yeah, okay. But this we should remember that geological epoch, not that man's epoch, changes it's already happening. And evolution rate has also changed from fast to what is it?
Present.
Huh?
Present.
Yeah.
Oh, now.
Yeah. This is always changing. Okay, slide one. Here is the title actually, Do or Die. This is the title used in Paris, in the conference in Paris 2016. If you don't do it, you will die, because global warming has become 1 degree Celsius reality, always increasing. Therefore, the ice is melting, making progress at climate talks in Paris even more imperative. But the most important number in climate change is just how sensitive is Earth's climate to increasing concentration of carbon dioxide. We have lots of them, but those who are planting kelapa sawit destroy it. I don't know who did it, but those who have it, really, not the forest in Sumatra and Palangkaraya and Kalimantan Tengah actually store the carbon dioxide. Now, if you go there, you will see oro-oro, bahasa Jawa. Yeah. Oro-oro is only field of nothing. Oro-oro go. Because people are cutting trees and plant kelapa sawit on it. Sumatra also suffering. Indonesia as a whole is suffering from that. But this is only a piece of land on Earth. There are many lands that are destroyed by the greedy of man. Which we should not do it if we wish to live ever on Earth.
And now
I learned Lampung consists of hutan forest in the south of Lampung. But now if you go there, houses everywhere. Also in the Teluk Lampung, which I think it was formed by the satellite, by the asteroid, the forms it. Some people believe that no, it is not formed by the satellite, by the asteroid. But naturally, Sumatra looks like that. That is. Okay, slide. Okay. Here I would like to menyuarakan the voice from the Kennedy Center only 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. This is a very important in the history of the negotiation. Staffen is one of the people at the center. More importantly, it is very important time in the history of attempts to deal with the problem of global climate change. Unfortunately, the Americans are not so clever. They have chosen Trump, who hates climate change. Therefore, science in the direction to study climate change has stopped. I hope our president is not that stupid. Our president is clever to study it. Okay? What happened on December 4, 2015 at 4 p.m.? This is the statistic. Humans have destroyed a third of the Earth's farmland in 40 years. That is the statistic. In the last 40 years, Earth has lost a third of its farmable land to human-caused erosion and pollution. I was surprised when I went to Gorontalo. Surrounding the house of the governor, there is no free land anymore. Only houses. This is also included in this aspect. Guardian report. That's what says. Soil is now blowing or washing away 100 times faster than it can form. And without that soil, humans may not be able to feed their growing population. Okay? According to an analysis of research published over a decade, to avert disaster, say researchers, governments need to help farmers adopt sustainable agricultural practices, such as rotating land use between crops and livestock. This is the old tradition in Indonesia. The farmer always changed, rotating the land use without destroying it. So the old wisdom is already there, except the new Indonesians are not observing it very carefully. Okay? They forget it, that we live under the aegis of the wisdom of the old people. Slides. I will leave it, but this is very simple because the level of CO2 changed and all of us have known it, but this is shown as by statistic. Yeah. Some people say that Nicaragua was in the shadow of disaster. Mono Tombo. But slides berikutnya, I would like, this is Nicaragua when it happened. But I would like to show you that not only in Nicaragua, but in Lombok. I think this is Lombok. This is Gunung Rinjani, Lombok. Next to Gunung Rinjani, there is a small volcano which erupted in the year 1635. The eruption was bigger, more effective than Tambora. Tambora in 1835 was large enough that caused summer without sun in Europe. But Malasan in please, I think we should call and make film of Rinjani, Pompeii in the east. We are all attracted by the film Pompeii that happened in Italy. But the eruption in Mount Smalas in Rinjani was actually bigger and wiped out one kingdom near Lombok, near the capital now. Actually, behind that country, behind that state, there was a huge and flourishing kingdom, but was already covered by dust. Now, if you can make film out of it, then the production will be larger than Pompeii that was made by Hollywood some years ago. Slides berikutnya. This is the Journal of Events. I noted from 2010 until 1944. I read it from 25 of December 1944. A new vent opened on northwest flank of Barujari, where a new lava dome was formed and remained active until January 1945. Of course, that time was difficult time, nobody cared of it. But in 1994, eruption Lahar killed 30 people. This is our time. Rinjani started to erupt is not erupted, on June 94 from the Barujari coal. In the following month, I think it was in August, the eruption continued with frequent ash explosion and occasional small pyroclastic flow. Pyroclastic flow is an eruption of magma flowing down from the top of the mountain. Near the end of the activity, a tragic accident killed 30 local villagers. After all, it is Patani, nobody cared. If it is DPR, if the member of DPR who was killed, then people start talking. Mud flow caused by heavy rainfall, remobilizing loose deposit went down to Kokok. Kokok Senggak Valley is the name of the town near Rinjani, killing the people who were collecting water for their homes. A young woman who had been in June 2010, only 7 years ago, a young woman who had been trekking the Rinjani with her boyfriend fell on a steep section of the caldera and died. The couple had been poorly equipped and unprepared for the demanding condition of the terrain. This happened only in our time, some years ago, in Rinjani, near Rinjani. This is the event that can be observed. Eruption happened in Gunung Samalas, as I told you before, in 2017, but this happened, reconstruction, what happened in 1257. Okay, this is statistics slides. No. Okay. What should we treat? What should we treat our biosphere? There is a threat caused by man, of course. Threat to the biosphere leading to sex extinction. I call the astronomical events that are attacking us at the sex extinction mode. Well, for the first 5, you know the eruption, volcanic eruption, tidal effect, and so forth. But here, biodiversity is being eroded. You know that. All the flowers, all the plants around here are already changed. Extinction is very deplorable, not just for aesthetic and sentimental reasons, but the main question remains, are we destroying genetic variety that may prove valuable to us? With the change of surrounding, with the change of ecology, also we can expect the change in genetic variety. Now, if that happens, then the genetic variety within us can also change. You will become a monster, or I will become man. Better, I think. but this is only, nature is kind to us. Volcanoes cool the earth in the past. This is true, as can be proven by the eruption of Rinjani, of Tambora, and of Krakatau in 1883. Constrained warming from excess CO2. But what we do, burn our forests, hence reducing the biospecies diversity. Biospecies diversity has already been attacked. The orangutan in the southern part of Kalimantan has already changed their habits, because of the changing in the atmosphere and changing in the surrounding. They cannot eat the natural food that they used to eat, but they have to find something else. Of course, if something else cannot be found, they will die. More slides. What we should not overlook at this time is, of course, bioterror and or bioerror. Kill 1 million people. Bioterror has been taken carefully or properly by the government by closing, according to Perperpu, some kind of organization that has caused the trouble in mankind. But bioerror to kill 1 million people. I think in your document that has been distributed by Mr. Dian, there is an article about people in Indonesia are ready to export tanaman, but they forget to build a laboratory to study. For example, what will happen in Jawa Timur when all of the forests are destroyed? You cannot have pohon keluak anymore. And what will you do? You cannot make rawon. Rawon will be made chemistry with chemicals. I think if the trees in Jawa Timur is cut down, and people like Dimas Kanjeng, for example, will do it. Well, you know Dimas Kanjeng, of course, he is sentenced for what, 8 years now? 18 years. That is good. But there are many more people. Bupati Lumajang, Bupati what? Bupati ditangkap kemarin karena dana desa, bukan Sumedang, Jawa Timur, dana desa, Pamekasan. Ya, Madura. Ya, Madura has also changed. We should import garam. So it was usually supplied by the Maduris. What they are going to do is that now. I think the article is, did I give you the article about, oh, okay, I will find it. The article about, there is also an article about biodiversity revolution and an article about tanaman-tanaman obat. We are happy to export all the tanaman obat, but we forget to study what might have caused the effectivity of tanaman obat. There is an interesting article in Nature, maybe 10 years ago. Nature produced an article very tantalizing to study the makanan, the traditional food. 2,300 traditional foods are studied, including masakan Padang. Why masakan Padang is so popular? Because it contains not only flavor, but also anti-bio problems. Yeah, you have jamu-jamu in it, included in it. Yeah, herbal is included in it. So there are many Javanese food that are prepared that way, not only for taste, but also for health. This is what we should now embark or study it in order to produce it. But the food seller don't go to the Jajanan Bandung. There are many artificial material included in it. Go to the old traditional way. Slide berikutnya. Now, who is now responsible? That's our responsible. Our duty is honorable if the scientists do for the society. What will we do? You have so many students. Yesterday I talked to Mr. from Magelang. Where is it? Yeah, he taught physics in Magelang. Oh, he has a degree of physics, but he taught general science for his students. I hope some of them will become scientists who are not only thinking of themselves, the name, the glory of scientists, but also scientists, what can scientists do for society? I told you before that thanks to your lecture last night from Myanmar, from the advice from my teacher in physics, Pak Susilo, back in 1952, you are not fit to study engineering, because that is what he told me. You better study sciences, and with the hope that you can do something for scientists. Some researchers may resent the increasing calls for them to demonstrate impact, but my time seconded to the UK Food Standard Agency as Chief Scientific Advisor has convinced me that such pressure will only increase. Yeah, it is difficult. The increasing demand from the population is that scientists produce something. Policymakers are no longer willing to hand over billions of pounds of taxpayers' money to scientists in exchange for a fake promise that something good will come from it. We are generally advised that science should produce immediately something for public. But those who are studying natural science, I think you help. We study biology. Who is it?
Who's that teacher?
What? Who was it? He studies coffee. His study is not producing something immediate for immediate use to the public, but everlasting. And that is the importance of studying biology, pure biology, because there are many things that can be served, that can be used to improve the biological performance of plants. Here I remind you that policymakers are no longer willing to hand over billion of pounds. Ini sama dengan Indonesia, nggak mau memberi bantuan begitu saja of taxpayers' money to scientists in exchange for a fake promise that something good will come from it. Banyak contoh, Pak. There are many examples of pure scientific method in physics, for example, that can be used only after so many years. I was lent a book by Ms. Binti about Tesla. Yeah, he in his youth, he produced so many things, and not in immediate use, but later on, science, society, and engineering benefit from what he was thinking 20, 30 years before. This is what we should say about it. And there are many young Indonesians who are thinking that way. We are teaching physics not to obtain Nobel Prize, but we are teaching physics in order to make them aware what the law of physics will be used for mankind. That is most important. Yeah, this is important, resilience, ketahanan, into our community. As I told you before, the herbs are already sold and sent abroad by forgetting what we should do to preserve them and to study them. Natural disaster can originate from within and from outside the earth. Lessons learned, spectrum of natural disaster from low to high, significant probabilities, apocalyptic or remedial. Yeah, apocalyptic, remedial to bisa diobati. And we should build tools, innovative approaches can better equip society to deal with natural disaster than other shocks. Okay. You are ready to help people after the volcanic eruption. But to prepare people like Mbah Marichan from Jogja to escape from volcanic eruption of Merapi is more difficult. Mbah Marichan was very good to advise people to ngungsi. Yeah. That is what we should do. Okay, slides. Slides. Okay, like it or not. In order to maintain public support, like you from UNESCO, for example, researchers need to be able to adapt to the rapidly changing needs of society and politicians. The most difficult aspect is the politician, because they change from time to time depending on the election. Pemilihan kepala daerah or something like that will influence their thinking. Of course, by maintaining our posture as scientists in the first place. Here's what we should build or explain to our students. You are responsible. You have great responsibility, not only to collect fees or to corrupt, but to help society. New finding in August 2017 from New Scientist just a few days ago. Life on Earth came from a hot volcanic pool, not the sea. This is changed. It was thought that life came from the sea. Therefore, we have to improve to guard our maritime life. But new evidence life on Earth came from hot volcanic pool. Deep oceans were thought to hold life's origin. Ini dulu dipikirkan. New evidence points instead to an active volcanic landscape. Samalas maybe hid something, maybe hiding something. Or Merapi maybe hiding something. Marbabu, we have lots of them that may be the pool of life in the past. Slides, please. This is, this is in Indonesian. Excuse me for my colleague from abroad, that in Indonesian, arti training, because all of you are in training now. That is to persiapan penelitian, to prepare for research, pelaksanaan to implement for research, and pelaporan is important. Last night, some of you have already melaporkan, report to them. But the most important thing for us is probieren geht über Studien. This German saying in the old days, that mencoba adalah lebih baik daripada hanya studi. Oke, santri nih perlu ini pendito dan santri. Saudara menjadi guru, saudara, all of you are teachers, you have students. Please consider yourself as pendito, and your students are your students. Santri. Santri means not only the follower, but also the thinkers who will follow you step and open up the rahasia of the things. So, okay, we will not talk about that. For closing, I think you should learn from ITP how clever they are. The student of ITP like Mr. Tian. The above graph is the real statistic. The cross-section of the atomic cross-section of certain material. If you don't know, you will interpret that this is the statistic of the two gajah elephant. But those who have more ideas think this way. This is the result of the three gajah. Don't do that. If you present something to the course to the classroom, you have to show that there is a reason to present the statistic above, why, and what is the meaning of the statistic above, not just the drawing like this with imagination. Okay? But this is clever imagination. Okay, that is all, yeah? Oh, that is okay. This is my house. Oh yeah, by the way, of course I show this because the flower was given by Miss Binti behind them. Okay. Thank you very much for you all and for the committee and for the SEAMEO for allowing me or charging me with this discourse. Again, I'm not the teacher who has the gun, so I will invite questions, critics, and comments so that I can improve this lecture. Thank you very much for your attention. Any questions? Oh, sorry.
Is there any question? Okay, first. Thanks for the opportunity. Let me introduce myself. My name is Hafiz Ansari from South Kalimantan, and I have a question with Mr. Bambang Hidayat. I have watched the movie like Gravity, and of course, as we know that there will be a country outside Earth, for example, like Australia. Then how that we can protect our property, for example, like artificial satellite or Hubble telescope and other property that orbit around Earth, because they don't have any atmosphere like Earth. For example, in Gravity movie, there was asteroid collide the satellite, for example, and they cannot protect their property. So the satellite was broken because of the asteroid. And for the future, how can we protect our property like that? Thank you.
Any more questions? I will answer this. Maybe there are some questions.
Thank you very much for the awesome explanation from Professor Bambang. And Professor Bambang, I have been watched a movie before. The title is Wall-E.
What is the title?
Wall-E. This is an animation movie. The movie shows the condition in the future that humans unable to live in the earth anymore, and one of the condition is there are so much waste in the space.
So much what? Waste. Oh, waste. Waste.
Garbage.
Garbage.
Yeah.
There's a lot of waste. In the real life, is that potentially happen, and how about the condition now in the outer of the earth? Is that there are so many satellites around the earth, and how dangerous to the earth? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, this is more or less about life on exoplanets, life on the other part of the earth, of the universe. Any more questions?
Good morning. I am Geraldine from the Philippines. since they have been asking questions about living in space, I also wanted to ask a question. Is it really possible to live in one of the moons of Jupiter, like the movie also? So from the satellite to a floating asteroid to Avatar.
Okay, so the three questions more or less directed to the
Living in
questions
space.
whether there are life outside the earth or not, and then how to protect the earth from any disturbances that may occur. Okay. I would like to answer your questions first. We have so much difficulty with President Duterte, who killed the penyelundup of narcoba that come to Indonesia, that we cannot cope yet. Now, suppose the penyelundup came from outside the earth, who don't speak any language of the people on earth. Who can you tell them to go away? No, we cannot do that. We have to kill them, right? But with the two questions, life on the exoplanet, which I mentioned a year ago, and up until now, people have not found the existence of living being on other planets. This means that we have the privilege until now to live, to govern our planet. Of course, there may be other type of living conditions. People who can live without oxygen, people who can live without nitrogen, people who can live without drinking water, alcohol, beer, whiskey, all the time. Maybe. But up until now, there is one key in the study of living being around the planet, or in the planet, around the sun. That is the so-called the life zone. Not all planets that have been found or detected so far outside the Earth, 4,000 of them, can have planet who can be occupied by men like us. Nor, so far, no detectable life being have been observed outside the Earth. Therefore, at the moment, we don't have to be afraid of the attack from outside. We don't have to be afraid from the people from outside. We don't have to be afraid of people from outside. But life, as we know so far, consists only one type that we know of. There may be other form of life outside there who can attack us. We don't know. If we don't know the status of the life there, then we cannot defend ourselves. This means that if they are going to attack us, of course they are free to do so without our knowledge. The bacteria, for example, some years ago, the bird flu, for example, was not known by mankind, but the scientists know how to prove, how to prevent with the obat-obatan, with the medicine. They are now wiped out. And that is what scientists should prepare in the event of something that will come. But at the moment, we cannot predict what kind of living there who can attack us. Some years ago, maybe 20 years ago, we did not expect to find living conditions and some bacteria on the volcano. But now we know that even bacteria can live, can survive in the heat of the volcano. Now that's something new. But 20 years ago, nobody knew about it. The important thing at that time, maybe we go to Mystic, Nyloropidol, for example. That is very easy because we cannot explain it. But scientific way is not like that. We have to explain what it is and why it behaves like this. Okay? I said,
Is there any question?
by the way, I will ask the organization to make a copy of exoplanets, the frontier of habitability zones. The next question. This was my lecture here at this school, held in 26th of July, 2016. So thank you very much. Oh yes, okay.
I will ask you about the meteor who come to the earth and makes dinosaur
Please a little bit.
make dinosaur extinct from this earth, disappear from this earth. How about the other animals? How about the other animals? Why are they not disappear from the earth? For example, is the mammal or amphibian or other reptilian. Why only do we saw disappear? Thank you.
Yeah, with the event that occurred 65 million years ago, the most significant thing is the disappearance of dinosaurs. But I think scientists are still looking for other species who are extinct, who became extinct because of that event too. And I think they found several of them. For example, birds, maybe 35 species have already gone out because of the event. So it is not close to the dinosaurs. The biggest mammals that we found dead are extinct dinosaurs.
Is there any question?
Thank you very much. It is a key question actually. Is alien existing?
Is what?
Alien.
Alien?
Yes.
What?
Alien.
Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I like your question since last night. You asked so many questions to the speakers, right? She asked now, is there a study about the alien life? Yes, indeed. They tried to extrapolate the living condition of the Earth so that it fit to the living condition that we know of can exist can exist in the Antarctica. The problem is this: the sample of life is only n equal to 1. That is on Earth. The probability of expectation is square root of n minus 1, n minus something divided by n, and n is the sample. If the sample of 1, n divided n minus something will be so great, and therefore the possibility of life will be so great, and we cannot study all of them at the same time. Maybe living condition is not long enough to do that. But of course, there are studies of alien. There are many stories in the Javanese culture about living condition outside of the Earth, but there is no proof, and scientists have to live with evidence. Without evidence, everything will become a story. Okay? At the moment, there are many stories about that. Gatot Kaca, for example. There is a story. You cannot really. There is no evidence of it. Okay? Nyai Roro Kidul is also a story. There is no evidence of it. Makasih. Example.
Thank you, Professor. I want to ask you about our textbook in the school. it is really update or lag behind. The verse, that's the verse. Buku-buku di sekolah kami itu sudah ketinggalan zaman atau apakah relevan atau masih bisa kami pakai? Terus, would you give us, we are the teacher in the school, some tips and tricks how to increase the interest of the student to learning about the space? The student, we are the kids, the student is still kid and not understand about the space. How to increase the interest to learn about it.
He asked me 3 questions. Whether the books he used in the school is up to date or not. I don't know, I cannot give an example, but I cannot give the answer right now because I didn't know what kind of book that we use. But usually the author would like to use the most recent evidence. So the newer book may be used. But also don't forget the type of the book. It is a romance book, a fiction book, or scientific book. The books on physics, you cannot make fiction for other things. But the book on history may not be accurate, may not be up to date. I can give you a very good example of what happened in 1965. She asked me after our breakfast. She read the book written by, pengalaman catatan seorang demonstran by Sophie. But there are many books, for example, by Julius Poor, published recently, point to the same thing but more evidence. So this book is more, to me, is more evidence. That's I can use it, I can trust it. Now, second, this is very important, he said. How can we increase the interest of the students toward the natural science? That's it? Yeah. What you did was all right, except that you have to pinpoint more. Why is that so? Why is that so? Feed the student with more questions. Why? So they have to provide, this is because, the evidence is this. So the evidence is more important. What you did was all right, that was the beginning. I think you make 5 groups, right? 4 groups, students to study about astronomy. Last night you presented that way. That's good. Maybe in biology also, you can also do that. Ask your student to describe, for example, tanaman obat. Now, why can it cure people? For example, manggis is not advertised as means, as a substance to improve your skin. No, why? Cabai lembuyan can help you to defend you from stomach trouble. No, why? Try to study it scientifically. There are many laboratories, or you should build a laboratory to study, to extract the content of the material and show the evidence that this kind of things will help you to do that. Okay? That is what often I can see.
Morning,
Now,
sir.
about the book that you use is a book about physics or astronomy. Yeah, encyclopedia. He used the encyclopedia. Are usually summary of that has been done before. So you can use it, but there are of course many questions. Why is that so? Try your student to answer. Increase their power to reason. She mentioned about that last night.
Still, there's a planet Pluto in here in this book.
What is it?
The students to ask why Pluto in here.
Yeah. Well, I don't know it's from that, so I have not read it.
My name is Andre. I come from Central Java, Semarang. And I have a question. can you tell us what's the prospect for the future as an astronomer like you? Because I think it's my honor to meet you because you find a planet from Indonesia, and how we motivate our teacher, our student, to be an astronomer. And can you tell us about how many astronomers from Indonesia in the world and what they do, so it can inspire us? Thank you.
Any more questions similar to this? There are two more questions. Okay. No, he's from Semarang, asking whether Lumja Semarang is still enak or not. Why? Because the bamboo came from Ungaran. Yeah.
My name is Sukari from Jayapura, Papua.
Ini nggak dimati dulu aja.
The earth is getting older. The earth is getting older, and there are many disasters. How can
Will you please speak a little bit louder?
And repeat the question, please.
Yes.
the earth is getting older, and there are many disasters. We all of us here teacher, so how we can give advice to our students to awareness about this, except sugar beds in the place, plant trees, protected the out environment. How else we can give advice to our students to awareness about this? That the earth is getting older, and then there are many disasters. All here teachers, so we have give application to our students that they have to awareness about this. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Enta Purwanti. I'm from Surabaya, and my question is, if we observe about the star, we know that the distance of the star from the Earth is very
Of the stars.
From the Earth is very far away. So I think how we know the star is still exists or not, because sometimes the light of the sun reach the Earth is about maybe 10 years because the distance, and so we know that how we know the stars that we look is still exists or not. Thank you.
Itu ada satu.
Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Desi from Bandung. I'm always curious about black holes, sir. And by the way,
What?
black hole.
Oh, black hole, yeah.
Black hole, yeah. By the way, it's just only in a universe. It just only has one black hole or more than one black hole. And if we maybe in the future, if we are if we have a like spaceship like that, and we go yes, we go into the black hole, what will happen? And then yes, and then it will can happen if we can travel the time through the black hole. That's it. Thank you very much.
There are two types of questions. One is about how to increase the interest of people to study astronomy. Our colleague from Semarang asked them. And then our colleague of Papua, Irian Jaya. I still call it Irian Jaya, because I value highly the Indonesian proclamator. And also there is a right to say it Irian Jaya rather than Papua. I will not tell you. How to show that science is important, right? And to make younger people and people aware of what's happening on Earth. The third one from Surabaya asking about because of the distance is so large, astronomers observe stars. The question that is related to that is the stars still there? The light that we receive is million years, is emanating, spent from the stars, sent from the stars, so many years ago. Okay, and the last question is about black hole. Black hole is the name is very inappropriate because the black hole is actually not hole, but a very massive object whose gravitational energy is so large that that rays or light cannot go out from it. So I will tell you. So first one is about our colleague from Semarang. Where is Semarang you from?
Kebun Dalam Senior High School.
Kebun Dalam High School.
Yes.
Okay, I know where it is. At least in 1952-53. He asked me how can he can produce interest or stipulation to the people to study astronomy. Yeah, you can tell that astronomy is a physics in the field. And there are many questions to be answered. There are many questions like what he has, whether the book really gives the original answer or not. You cannot base on the story. For example, last night our colleague from Saudara Ruslan Menerang explained about the partial solar eclipse that he observed. Now why that could happen? You can ask them. You can initiate questions. You can support the student if necessary to do so. I will not talk about how many astronomers and things like that because this is rather out of question in this class. But there are many already working at Limbang and working in the Department of Astronomy at ITP. But one thing I would like to stress here. In my time when I entered Fakultas Matematika dan Ilmu Pasti Alam, MIPA, Faculty of Sciences, I did not feel that I am a student of astronomy. I felt I am a student of natural sciences. Because in MIPA, in the faculty, in the school, we can choose subjects that may be interest for us, useful for us. We can study chemistry, we can go to physics, we can study mathematics. Our mathematics is given by teachers in mathematics. So we not only know the technical method, but also the philosophical background of certain theory. Bernoulli principle. We know the principle background because it's given by the physicists. Not only the formula out of spectroscopy. So that is the way we learn. We should not be encouraged to study one direction. Therefore, in my point of view, if you build a faculty, not single-minded, it must be based on several courses which will help to develop natural science, the theoretical aspect of the sciences, in order to make progress. Physics. I follow all the physics in the old days in this class, in this department. And we knew all of them. Many of them, of course, I did not use it as an astronomer, but I know the principle. I learned the principle. Not I know the principle, but I've learned the principle. This is what we should do. And Semarang, this is the city of Semarang. It's very unique to me. Semarang is divided into two towns, upper and lower town, Candi and Semarang. Why there are so many banjirs? Banjir is rock. No, not rock. In between jalan-jalan, we can ambil jalan terus penuh banjir. In the old days, there is still a law that people should not build houses or buildings in that area, because that area is the place where the water from Candi, from the hills, come down. But now they build houses, of course, the result of it is banjir in Semarang, in Perapatan 5, Simpang 5. Yeah. Simpang 5 is the five crossing. There was only one school up on the hill, my school. And of course we are big-headed in 1952-53 because only people who went into the B, mathematics, can enter to that school. In those days, people are astonished or were astonished that the students who go to that school are clever students. Of course, it is not true. And I'm not that clever, but I went into that school. So you have to support them to study the basic principle in order they can study astronomy. But nowadays, there are many other aspects of useful aspect of astronomy, for example, space flight, etc. Okay? Now about your question from Papua. I've heard one very interesting lecture from a Papuan, I forget the name, doctor of biology. He criticized the government of Jakarta who built tembok. Tembok is what is tembok? Walls in order to prevent water, not to attack the landmass. He has shown that there are so many pepohonan, trees that can naturally protect the area from flood. I forget the name of the water, but I can open it easily. And that is very important to explain to the student why that kind of tree can survive in such a water condition. Because they know the science. And why did you eat sagu instead of rice? Because also the condition of the landmass of Papua may be better to raise sagu than rice. You cannot force them to eat rice all the time because the production is not as high as Java Dwipa, the island of rice. Papua has different thing. So it was a mistake to ask people in the eastern part of Indonesia to replace sagu with rice. Because they got used to, traditionally they are also trained to plant the sagu trees. And sagu trees also fit to that area. And this is one kind of example of science that's scientifically proper. You can explain to your student to investigate about it. Why? I forget the name, but he was a professor at the University of Cendrawasih. I can ask him your address later and can send. I have the paper. And then the question of the third one is about, both are about astronomy actually. Whether what we observe now is or are the characteristic of the object that are still existing. It is not necessary to do so, because the star that we observe may have died many years ago. Supernovae, for example. But what is important to us? Why can a star explode into supernovae? That is important. Supernovae started exploding and sending off light and rays and energy. For example, in the year 1054, there was a supernovae that can be observed, that the catatan, the document can be found in Yangtze-Kiang by people of Israel and India. Unfortunately, not by Indonesia. Despite the fact that the supernovae, the exploding star, happened right above us. It's shown up for 2 weeks in a row. You can see even in the daytime because so bright. Now, supernova is a star that explodes tremendously. Why there is no catatan no notes, no journal from the Indonesian. Maybe the Jaga Malam of Indonesian people at that time were afraid to report to the king that there was a supernova, because something that happened in the sky is a bad sign if it is not permanent. Supernova is not permanent. All of a sudden you can see it and then dying away. But there is evidence that the king of Mataram moved to the east in that period. I asked Pak Sujono, the geologist, whether there was an eruption of Merapi, because eruption may cause people hungry, may cause poverty. But he said, no, there was no eruption in the year 1054. Now, why did the people move from Mataram, from Yogyakarta, to the east? Okay. Now, that has to be studied. Why? The explosion is there. The star that we observe today is not there anymore. But that is not important, but related to the other aspect of social life is important. And then, now about the black hole that you're asking. Black hole is a compilation of mass. It's so high that the gravitative force is so big that even light can escape from that. Therefore, it is called a black hole, a place where you cannot see something. It's just not a curtain like that, but a mass. She wanted to go into there and know the time scale, whether the same or not. Of course, it's not the same. Life in the black hole is so different, with so big gravity difference. It's not the same as the gravity equal to 1. Gravity equal to 1 here is the acceleration that is caused by the Earth gravity, 918 centimeter per second square. But it does not happen there. Maybe in the black hole it's 10 times that high. But nobody, if you go there, nobody can go out again. So why do you want to go there? You cannot go out. That is about the black hole. Your husband will not like it. You go there, you can. Okay?
Still single.
Single.
Later. Okay. Well, I think I have answered the 4 questions. I hope it was clear enough. But please, I don't know. It depends on the committee.
Actually, there is for still 15 minutes.
Okay.
It's okay. Is there any question?
Yeah.
Okay.
15 minutes.
Let's.
Thank you very much for your time. I have a question about Andromeda Galaxy. I ever read in the internet, in one day, Andromeda Galaxy and Milky Way Galaxy will collision in 4 million ago. I want to know what will happen after that, after the both of the galaxy collision. Thank you.
She asked about a certain extra galaxy, called Andromeda Galaxy. The distance about 51 years or something like that. So great. One galaxy consists of 200 million stars. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, Bima Sakti, also has 200 million stars. Now it depends. She said, what will happen with the Earth or life if those galaxies collide each other? Now it depends on the collision times. Before it hit the Earth center, before it hit the Earth or the center of the galaxy, many stars are already entering our galaxy. Both ways, our galaxy also entered the Andromeda. So there is no question like this one. The car will get another car. No, because the center of galaxy is surrounded by billions of stars. And that is what we should study. the mechanics, the Newtonian mechanics, as well as the Einsteinian mechanics, can explain what happened if mass moving at high speed collide each other. But don't worry, because galaxy has 100 million stars, and we are surrounded by those kind of stars. Andromeda galaxy is also surrounded by 150,000 light years distant. And this will not happen tomorrow, of course, and I hope not, because 150 million light years is really distant. 1 light year is about 10 with 12 zero behind it in kilometers. And you have to multiply that.
I just wanted to ask a follow-up questions with Juan's question. We already have the Hubble's law that says that the universe is continuously expanding. So therefore, we keep on moving away from galaxies, moves away from other galaxies.
Yeah, Hubble law explained that the grand total of the universe, they are moving away. So, for example, a ball, it was like this, no category. But it does not prevent one of them hit the other. The motion within the universe, like the motion of traffic in Bandung, like this, or in Manila.
So collision of two galaxies will also be possible.
It's still possible, but and 1 or 2 or 3 examples have been shown that 3 galaxies collide each other.
But not like a big crunch, like every galaxy will come together.
No.
Only 2 or 3.
Yeah, sometimes they move away, separating each other, but some of them on the moving away hit another galaxy. It's like traffic in Bandung.
Let's pray it will not come.
Okay.
100 million stars and 100 million.
Okay, this is, there is any question or enough for participant? Is there any question?
I think process should read the email. Your email.
Can you email me?
Or your
My email. My email, yeah. M-I-L, not
email.
yeah, not Hotmail.
The address of email is b.hidayat07@hotmail.com.
0. Ini buat gandeng kan?
Ya. 0.
0.
No space. Yeah, between T and 0.
Ya, M-I-L ya, bukan M-A-L-E. Excuse me. Bu Purwanti, did you manage, mana Purwanti tadi? Purwanti, did you manage to copy that? Did you manage to copy my article?
Yes. From the committee has.
Oh, may I have the original, please? Then I give you that aside. I can have it.
Ada yang sisa, ini ada sisa lebih kok.
Ini
Udah.
finish now.
So let us give Professor Hidayat a big applause.
Yeah, all of you have already my email, please.
Yeah, thank you for the insightful lecture, Professor. And as our form of gratitude, we would like to present plaque and also certificate to you. So may I invite Mr. Dian Purnama to present the plaque and certificate.
Oh. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, the next one is the presentation of the plaque.
Simbol gunungan. Gunungan bukan ya, bukan penutupan.
And I would like to invite all of the participants here to have a group photo session with Professor Bambang Jaya. Yeah, that's the class.
Ini yang baru. Ini yang baru. Oh ya.
Yeah.